right. Well, welcome to another edition of USA Wrestling's Off the Mat interviews here. I'm joined today by our men's freestyle national team coach, Joe Russell, and our special guest today, five-time world team member, James Green. James, thanks for joining us. And Joe, thanks for being with us as well. To start off with, James, obviously the biggest news for you personally these days, heading to Virginia Tech and going to be a part of the Southeast Regional Training Center there. So it's been a couple weeks since we found out the news. And you had a great interview on Flow shortly thereafter. But, you know, after having a couple weeks to process, what are your latest thoughts on that? And how's the pending move coming for you guys?
We're still excited. Obviously, it's going to be even different feelings once we actually get there. And really, I think that's kind of like a big part is that, yeah, we made it official and announced that we're moving, but we're not quite in Virginia yet. So it really hasn't sunk in. Like I'm still going to, we're able to work out here at a local club. And I'm seeing Manning and seeing JB and some of the other freestyle guys. So it feels like, I'm just still obviously here in Nebraska and a part of the team, which is nice. And we're going to head out the end of July. So when that day comes, I can let the world know kind of what emotions are going through once we're making that trip. But yeah, we're excited.
And are you in communication with the coaches out in Virginia Tech with Freyer and those guys yet?
Yeah. We're just, they're just trying to make this transition as easy as possible. It's really not much they can do right now as far as we're, getting our house sold, and we actually did find a place out there. So, until it's just days now or a month actually until we actually get out there. But just prior to that, we were staying in communication and just making sure everything was set up out there and taken care of. So looking forward to it.
I think the Virginia wrestling community and should know to get their shirts soon, because they got some great shirts that has out there. So they should be all over Virginia, all over Nebraska, well, all over the country. So get your James.
I appreciate that.
And James, just your thoughts in general on some of the big shakeups we've seen within the RTC world. During this quarantine, we've seen huge shakeups, huge news. Kyle Snyder, Thomas Gilman, James Green, a lot of the girls from the Hawkeye Regional Training Center, a lot of big transitions taking place. Do you think this is all these things maybe were in the works and people are trying to wait until after Tokyo, but with the delay, it kind of forced people's hands sooner rather than later? Or do you think maybe some of this is just going to be every year now, that there's going to be big shakeups with where people are choosing to do their training?
I think it was really, it's the quad. So the cycle, I think that a lot of people had plans for after, like you said, after the Olympics or after Olympic trials. And because of the COVID, those plans might have been postponed or accelerated. So for me, my plans were, after trials, make it known that we were going to be trying to get back east, and that didn't happen. So I think for a lot of other people, it falls around the same kind of lines as far as, just trying to make the best out of it while they can, or try and see if they could, wait a year until after the next Olympics happen. So, but I don't think it'll happen as often. I think it's still the same as far as, every quad you see either people retiring, some people moving. It's just that, you have almost like classes. You have a lot of guys are getting older. A lot of people are trying to start families or getting married or whatever. So they're trying to align their outside wrestling life with their wrestling life. And I think that just plays a big part of it. When I first started, I was still in college. So I'm here in Nebraska. That's what I was focused on. I'm making world teams. I'm still focused and making this my home. And then obviously you change and things grow. So you just have to move accordingly. And I think that's what you'll see every either 4 years or whatever, people just adjusting to their outside of wrestling life.
Well, and that's one of the great things about the regional training center structure is that it gives athletes the ability to find an environment maybe closer to home or in a part of the country where they do have some more connections. Whereas before, 10 years ago, there were very few options for places where guys could have, quality opponents and good training partners and coaches to train in the international style. So it's just great to see that athletes like yourself have the ability to move closer to home and still pursue their dream. And you don't have to go, get a regular 9-to-5 job like Joe and I have just yet. You can continue to chase that dream. And Joe, I mean, you've spent a lot of time out on the East Coast. Any restaurant recommendations for James when he gets out there?
Oh yeah, they got some good eating out in Virginia, so he's going to be doing quite well on the East Coast.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the fresh seafood. So
I'm excited because you've already been on 5 world teams, but you're still young and planning on another quad. So that's exciting for me to hear, and I just excited for your next endeavor and for your family. And so you just had a first birthday party there, and so that was pretty exciting to see.
Right. Yeah. She went hard on a cake.
You let her eat some cake? That's awesome.
Yeah, she ate a cake and she crashed right shortly after. So it was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What we all really want to know is, do you have Halloween costume picked out for this year?
Not yet, but I'm sure we're all going to be putting on some type of costume. I can't wait. I made a tweet the other day because somebody had tweeted this thing about like this dad was at his daughter's like her restaurant in the house, and I was just like, yeah, I'll be doing the same thing. I can't wait. I'll be wearing anything she makes me, anything Glory makes, or any pretend food she wants me to eat. I'm doing it all. I'm looking forward to it. So
she gets tired trick or treating, you'll make her go to about 10 more houses, right?
Right.
And so, James, the regional training center structure has been able to provide so many athletes with great training opportunities year round. So what value and what role do the national team training camps play? That's something that, we're anxious to be able to get back online at some point. And Joe and his staff are trying to figure out how to make that happen within these COVID restrictions, is getting these top athletes together. But how does that add value to what you guys are doing at the regional training center level?
It's tremendous value because, any time that like-minded people get together, it's bound to bring about success. So while we're training at our local regional training centers, it's great. We get to hit the things that we're used to doing, trying to hone in our skills. But then when we have the national team camps, you get different minds. You get different feels. You get to kind of expand your knowledge in the sport and kind of get outside your comfort zone, try different things, try new things. And when you do that, you can take that back to your regional training center. Not only you're trying it, but you can share it with the college guys that are in the room who are possibly looking to do freestyle. And some of the stuff, translates right over to folk style. So to be able to have the knowledge and pass it along throughout the wrestling community is really great. And I like the camps, going out, seeing Joe, and all you guys at USA Wrestling catching up. So it's like when you're there, you get to really just focus on wrestling. You're waking up, you're going to practice, you leave practice, and you're thinking about exactly what you can do to better something that you learned in the practice or bring it to the next practice. So it's really a week or a week and a half of just dialed in wrestling. And it's a good time. It goes by.
And I'd love to get both Joe and James, your opinion on this and just your perspective on how the dynamic working with personal coaches and national team coaches and trying to keep everyone on the same page. Everyone has the same goal, but at the national team training camps, you're not the only 70 kilo guy or only 74 kilo guy, but everyone seems to be really bought in to pushing the tent pole as high as they can.
Yeah. So before the world teams are made, everyone is right. They're trying to get on the world team, and then everyone's after each other. Everyone's trying to wrestle each other. And then after the world teams are, decided, I think there's everyone comes together because they want that same goal. They want to see, obviously, that person, whoever's at the weight, win that gold medal. So a lot of times we'll have the world team guy and two other partners, rotating in and just getting different looks and different feels to try and elevate that person so they're in the right position to bring home a medal. And I think that's really beneficial to have the options, the different options in the room. And when the coaches get to meet in the morning, my coach, Snyder or Manning, they get to sit down and say, this is what we think James needs to work on. What do you guys think about it? And they get to share their ideas and how to get to that same goal. So it's really one big family. And whether if I want to reach out to Snyder, or I want to call Joe, call Bill, call Bucks, and all these coaches, they're available. And I think that's really special about the wrestling community.
I think it's been good for me just to watch as the guys get together, to see the knowledge going around in the room is just amazing. I think we could sell tickets and make a lot of money for people to watch practice because it's a blast to watch. But I think Bill's done a great job of managing the personal coaches and the athletes and trying to get us all on the same page. And that's been a real fun for me to watch, to see him with those relationships and how he makes them work and makes it gel. And that's why our team's had successes. Everybody's trying to help everybody, and personal coaches and national team coaches are trying to get on the same page so we can help these guys succeed at the world level. So it's been a blast. I think Brian Snyder probably is trying to figure out how to beat James Green a little bit more. So Brian gets a little competitive.
That's awesome. And James, as Joe mentioned earlier, 5 world teams, and you've been around forever, so people think you might be older than you are, but you're only 27 and you've got a pretty long road still ahead of you, as much as you want, right? So do you have some goals for the next quad? And it's kind of a weird space where we haven't finished the last one yet, but what are you looking to do? I would say both on and off the mat between now and 2024.
Right now with the downtime, I'm still going to try and compete at the 74 kilos for the Olympics. I see myself wrestling 70 kilos for, at least the remainder of my wrestling career, unless, I don't know, I start eating a lot of honey buns and donuts. But really, I just want to, try and be a part of as many world teams as I can. Not only that, but bring home the medals, win the gold medals. I haven't brought home a medal since 2017. So that's a little disappointing, but I'm not deterred. I'm still looking forward to the next goal and the next tournament. And really, with this downtime and not being able to compete, I just want to compete. So, as soon as they open up and if things line up, I'm trying to be hitting the road and try and get to these different competitions. And I want to just kind of do it as long as I can. And then with the move to Virginia, I feel like I want to be involved as far as in the wrestling community on a younger level with the kids and the youth wrestling in Virginia. I think it's being close to New Jersey and then the Pennsylvania, it'd be nice to start having that upcoming another state, because you get the New Jersey, you get the Pennsylvanias, you get the Ohio, right? I'd like to see Virginia as a state, make an emergence as a competitor. In Christiansburg, they used to be a top school. I think they still are. But if that could grow, that would be cool to be a part of. And really, outside of wrestling, just being close to my family, making different trips, spending different weekends with relatives and watching Glory run around with her cousins and trying to stay out of trouble, I guess. But it's going to be exciting time as long as I'm able, healthy, and willing to wrestle. I think it's going to be really fun.
So how has your perspective changed from, your first world championships in 2015 to now, in terms of how you prepare, maybe your the pressure you put on yourself or your expectations going into a world championships?
So when I first got on the scene, nobody knew who I was. And that was almost an advantage. So now that people do know, I got to put in a little bit more work. I got to do things uh, a lot different as far as my approach to the match. I can't just go out there and expect someone to let me double leg them and let me turn them just because, yeah, that's what I used to do when I first got on the scene. So people are more aware of the things I do. So my approach is just a little bit more tactical. I think that I also could do a better job at just wrestling a match. A lot of times I'm getting in these close matches where I'm losing by a criteria or by a point. So really just trying not to protect anything, right? I'm 27. I'm planning on wrestling a long time, but I don't want to be wrestling and not bringing any medals home. So I'm having fun. I'm going to try and continue to have fun and really uh, just trying to just wrestle, really. Not really hold back or protect or try and get through a match. There's a lot of things that I feel like um, myself, I do I mentally block myself as far as how I expect the match to go and then how the match goes, just because I want to be so dominant and then it doesn't happen and I get so frustrated. So really, if I could just kind of change that mindset, I think I'll be good.
Awesome. And other than world championships, what are some of the favorite places that you've been to that wrestling's taken you?
Well, we went to Iran. That was my first time, and I mean that was great. Russia's also great. I love Russia just because, yeah, wrestling is their sport. They love wrestling. Anyone could go there, and they're not. I mean, the rest might uh, make some different calls, but the fans they cheer for good wrestling. They're not just really cheering for Russia or the person they know. They just want to see good wrestling, and the stands are always packed, and they really appreciate the sport. So I like going to Russia. I want to go back to the Lons. That's a great tournament. And
Yeah, I can interrupt James right here because the Alon's tournament, it's fun being with James there because he's like a superstar now. So I'm pretty sure if he ran for mayor of Vladikavkaz, he would win right now. And I don't know if they have a governor of Ossetia or not, but they love James. You hear people chanting his name. Kids are trying to break through our security to him. It's pretty cool to see how they embrace your style over there. And he screw you and leave you in parterre for a few days.
Yeah.
The fans are shaking their heads like, how could they do that to James Green? So it was pretty neat for me to observe as a coach.
Yeah, it was cool. I like it. Yeah, I want everyone to kind of go over there and get that experience, or go to the Irans, because yeah, it just shows that the world kind of appreciates wrestling, and obviously kind of through these times like what's going on. Yeah, there's the sports just brings us together. So yeah, it's really cool to go over there and spend some time, not only wrestling, but just in the community and going to the MMA training facilities and messing around. So it's fun.
That's a great transition, James, just talking about what's going on in society these days. And just wanted to see what the latest is with the Black Wrestling Association and how things are progressing there.
Man, it's great. Nate Jackson has done a great job. He's a tremendous leader. He's really passionate and driven, and I'm proud to be a part of the association. And right now we are still working out the finer details as far as organizational structure and exactly how we're going to navigate these next couple months. But everything is falling together. We're getting a lot of help, outside help, and people wanting to be a part of the program. So yeah, really, it's just kind of right now wait and see, and I just know that it's going to be a great association, great opportunity, not only for me but other younger wrestlers and other people to come. That's what we're trying to build. Really, just like the mission statement says, we want to inspire, connect, and empower not only Black wrestlers but allies to grow wrestling through representation, equality, and different opportunities. So yeah, I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
And James, you started wrestling in a really unique situation where, and I don't know if this was exactly the case when you were there, but now the wrestling program is part of a community center, and it's a community funded wrestling program, like a Boys and Girls Clubs or a YMCA type of program. And there's so many areas that don't have that. And I'm just wondering, how many of those kids that you grew up with, and yourself included, may not have ever been exposed to wrestling if there wasn't that type of community opportunity.
Right. So when I was there, it was ran right there where we did our clinic back in November, and the numbers were great. It was tremendous. It was crazy how many kids would come, and we packed that room. And I think that if we had all the kids that participated in our program, our junior program, actually go to Willingboro, the high school I went to, we would have been a powerhouse through the country. So to kind of go from there to where it is now it's a little disappointing just to see that it's on a decline. But I don't think there wouldn't be a James Green if that opportunity wasn't provided from the Scott family to put their time and their effort into running that program and showing wrestlers or kids that there's opportunities in the sport of wrestling. So I appreciate the Scott family and the other families that are involved in the community. And we used to wrestle what was called the Grapevine League. So it's out through the whole kind of South New Jersey up to just, I think, past Trenton, is all included in the Grapevine. So you're going to tournaments and you're seeing the same faces and building that community and expanding to other areas, not only in New Jersey, but Pennsylvania, Ohio. And you're getting to see that, wrestling can take you all over the place. So, I'd hope to get back there and do more clinics like that and grow the awareness for the sport, because they really have a lot to offer there, and I think it can help a lot of kids.
Yeah, and it was really great to see, your peers and kids you grew up with. You're not the only person that went on to wrestle in college from that group. There's one I know that wrestled at Princeton, and one at North Carolina, and probably some others too. So just really, really great to see the impact, the long-term impact of a community program, but providing great opportunities for kids as they grew up. Being able to continue that, I think, is huge. Is that something that you think is going to be part of your mission moving forward?
Yeah, I it's hard because I like to see myself. I would have pictured myself coaching at the college level, but like I said, I would really like to be a part of, as far as growing the state of Virginia at the youth level, because obviously that's where it starts. And to have that impression on the kids at a young age, I think is really important because, one, when you look across the landscape, there isn't too many high level wrestlers, or I shouldn't even say that. I should just say people that, international success or went on to win world or Olympic titles, running like clubs, right? They're in the college rooms right now. So I think if people or kids were to actually get to spend more time around these people that are having success, that they're going to want to continue in the sport, because, we lose a lot of kids at that high school age. And yeah, I didn't, like, when I was growing up, I really didn't know a Dan Gable or John Smith, just because it wasn't, wrestling wasn't that big in the community. So if we could bridge that gap at the young age and show them that there is success to be had beyond college, I think that'll be great. So it's hard to tell right now, but I think it's something I could be a part of getting back with. I mean, David Taylor, he does a great job. He's running a club. So yeah, I could reach out to him and see how he does it.
I know Virginia fans will be excited to hear you want to give back to youth wrestling in Virginia, so they'll be excited when they see this interview. And you've done for wrestling with doing clinics, or for Wrestling for Peace when you went down to Texas to
right
with that initiative. And so that kind of stuff does have a big impact on kids. And I think you're right. They see you, then they can grasp the dream of being on a world team someday. They can be like James Green.
Right.
It's great you're doing those things.
Awesome. And so any final advice you think, James, for, young wrestlers right now that are either anxious to get on the mat or maybe if they're in a state where they can start practicing again, where they should be focusing?
Man, my advice, young wrestlers, I think that the misconception is that we have to be doing something, that we have to be working out. I honestly would take the time to, yeah, you can, go out for a run or get a jump rope, but take this time and let your body heal, or just be stretching, or something that gets your heart rate elevated, but nothing too exhausting, because one, we're not sure when things are going to open back up, and you don't want to be in a place where you're burning yourself out, I would say, because say if the competition gets set for, I don't know, 2 months from now, there's this event, and you've been practicing and you've been training hard. um, by the time that event comes and you're trying to peak, you're going to be on the downside of that. So I think right now is just to stay almost relaxed, and let your body heal, because man, and if you're going to be trying to compete, for a long time. I've been wrestling since I was 6. I'm 21 years old, so I I can enjoy some time off like this, and it's a grind. So uh, yeah, it takes a toll on your body, and I think that you should definitely just give your body a break right now and enjoy some time off.
I got one more question for you if we got time. I don't know if we got time, but
Yeah.
one of my favorite posters right here is a 2017 World Championship team that you were a part of, and
Oh man,
World Championship back to the U.S. Hadn't had one since '95. What was it like being part of that team and winning a world silver medal for your country?
man, it was great. Especially how it happened. Regardless, I took second, but to be there and it come down between USA and Russia, and to see Snyder win over Sadulayev, that, I mean, I'm gonna remember that for the rest of my life. And yes, it's in the history, right? So not only that, then we went to win the World Cup title. So I've I'm been a part of a lot of success with the Team USA, and I'm proud of that. And I hope we can do it again.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Good deal. Well, James, thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck in the upcoming transition, and I'm sure we'll see you soon.
All right, thank you.
Great. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, James.
Y'all have a good one.